In the last video, we watched them burn. Today, we look at what was left in the ashes. Many say that hip-hop won. After 1997, it became the biggest musical force on the planet, a culture that dictates fashion, language, and billion-dollar contracts. And the numbers don't lie. But beneath the surface, the truth is darker. The war between East and West Coast didn't just end. It transformed the very DNA of this culture. While we, the fans, were picking sides between Bad Boy and Death Row, men in suits were making decisions on how to tame a beast that had become too dangerous for their profit margins. The question isn't who fired the last shot. The question is, why did nothing sound the same after 1997? Today we analyze the moment music stopped being a movement and became a product. Welcome to the end of the golden age. To understand what we lost, we have to remember what we had. Take yourself back to 1993. It was a time when mainstream didn't mean the same. In the very same month, on the same charts, you could find the Wu-Tang Clan with their raw basement sound. A Tribe Called Quest, rapping about jazz and philosophy. And Snoop Dogg bringing the hedonism of Los Angeles. There was balance. Hip-hop was political. Public Enemy was our CNN. It was funny. De La Soul and Biz Markie made us laugh. And above all, it was free. The rivalry back then? It was a sport. It was like boxing. Who has the better metaphor? Who has the sicker flow? Nobody was thinking about bulletproof vests while writing rhymes in a notebook. That was the essence of the golden age. You didn't have to be a gangster to be respected. You could be broke, smart, weird, or angry. The community respected you for your skill, not for the number of records sold, and certainly not for the number of bodies you allegedly dropped. But somewhere around 1995, the rules changed. And let's be real, the war didn't start on the streets. It started in offices. Media outlets, magazines like The Source and Vibe, discovered that conflict sells more copies than music. Ratings, regional divisions, and carefully framed rivalries lit the fuse. Artists on both coasts were dragged in. Nas and Mobb Deep painted dark portraits of Queensbridge, while Tupac and Snoop Dogg became the West Coast symbols in a battle they never asked for. Music stopped being art. It became a weapon. A diss track was no longer about style or wit. It became a public death warrant. Creativity gave way to paranoia. If you didn't sound hard, if you didn't call out the other side, you were invisible. Hip-hop lost its sense of humor. It lost its intellectual range. All that remained was rage. And then, silence. Tupac left us in September, Biggie in March. Two pillars of the culture collapsed in 6 months. A vacuum was created. But instead of the scene returning to its roots to mourn, something else happened. The great corporate sobering. It wasn't just a change in taste. In 1996, while Tupac and Biggie were still alive, the Telecommunications Act was signed, a law that allowed giant corporations to buy up local radio stations. Suddenly, what was being played in New York, Atlanta, or LA wasn't decided by a local DJ who lived for the culture, but by a program director in a corporate office halfway across the country, relying on sterile focus groups and market research. It was a machine built to find a safe hit. The owners of major labels, Warner, Sony, Universal, changed course. They realized, this is too risky. They didn't want their million-dollar investments dying at traffic lights. The industry's reaction was surgically precise. They introduced the era we now call the shiny suit era. Puff Daddy took the helm. Overnight, the focus shifted from dark streets to yachts, champagne, and sampling happy pop hits from the 80s. Sound like a conspiracy theory? Maybe. But look at the music videos from 1996 and then look at 1998. The difference is night and day. Collectives slowly fell out of favor. They were harder to control. The industry wanted one superstar, one man who is a brand, who smiles, and who is safe for advertisers. In that moment, the golden age officially died. The idea of hip-hop as a voice of resistance faded, and hip-hop as the fastest elevator to the first million was born. Let's look at who emerged victorious from that chaos. Jay-Z. We mentioned him in the last video as a survivor who waited in the shadows. But here, we are looking at him as the architect of the new era. Jay-Z took Biggie's charisma, but packaged it into a cold, calculated business plan. His famous line, "I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman," wasn't just a rhyme. It was a new manifesto. Rappers stopped being poets and became CEOs. The quality of the rhymes became secondary in the mainstream, compared to the sneaker deal or the vodka contract. More importantly, we lost the sound of the city. Before you knew within 5 seconds if a song was from Brooklyn, Compton, or Houston. After 1998, the sound became homogenized. It only mattered that it worked on the radio, in every city. Hip-hop became too big to fail. It became a global product, but along the way, it dulled its edge. What was once the scream of the marginalized became the soundtrack for car commercials. Does that mean hip-hop today is bad? No, but it is different. It lost its innocence. The loss of Tupac and Biggie wasn't just the loss of two men. With them, an illusion died. The illusion that you can be the most dangerous man in the world and the most popular at the same time, without paying the ultimate price. After 1997, the scene split in two. We had the underground, people keeping the flame of the golden age alive, but left without budgets or media attention. And we had the mainstream, which took over the world, but became safer and more controlled. We lost the sense of community. We lost the DJ as the heart of the culture. We lost the political weight in the mainstream that could shake the White House. We have billionaires on magazine covers, but somewhere along the way, we lost the voice of the people. The East versus West war is often romanticized today. We consume it through movies, series, t-shirts, but the reality is that the war was the biggest self-inflicted wound in the history of modern culture. The golden age didn't end because we got tired of good rap. It ended because the violence gave the system a perfect excuse to take control and turn a raw culture into a polished industry. Hip-hop didn't die. It just grew up into a corporate giant. But like any adult who has lived through trauma, it bears scars that never fully healed. Perhaps the price of the global dominance we see today was the very soul we left on the sidewalks of New York and Los Angeles in that bloody year of 1997. Rest in peace to the golden age. The rest is just business.